With that story, Brandon, I gotta tell you, first of all, that's such a great and also sad story at the same time. Believe me, I've got more than a few of those myself too. But two things that come to mind about that. Number one is I've heard that there's plenty of states in the country that state's particular state troopers are ones that you just really do not want to mess with, and I've heard Georgia's like top three.
Hmm.
Like Georgia State Trooper, I've never encountered them. I don't know anything about them, but man, I've heard they do not mess around. Like you do not mess around with a Georgia State Trooper because they'll make your life hell. From what I know, I remember years ago a buddy of mine went down there and he had New York license plates and he drove through Georgia, and a Georgia State Trooper gave him a ticket for going 57 and a 55.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so yeah. But the other thing I'll say is Vipers to me are such a unique car because there really was nothing else like that. Yeah, the Vet's kind of in the same realm and everything, but the Viper is just it's another level. It's another, I wouldn't say like an upper, but like kind of to the side. But even like the later generations, you said yours was a fourth gen Viper, right?
Yeah, Fort Jim.
Even all the way up to the fourth gen Vipers and maybe even a little bit later, man, if you want to drive a car that will just give you nothing but a purely raw, road connected, just analog experience, there's nothing like a Viper.
Hmm.
A Viper is a driver's car, and that is a car that even in the later ones, if you get in those things, man, you are not paying 100% attention to those things at all time. It demands your attention.
Yeah.
It will make you sorry. You
You know
know?
what?
That's the one negative about the Z06. I think the C8 is there's so many nannies, and the Viper's like straight back to the roots. So that's
Oh yeah,
exactly what you described.
it's the core. Yeah.
You know what I think? I was thinking about this the other day because I still like that one car is for some reason still like, I just love it. You know, if right now they still made them, I think they would be more popular because of the Z06 and the ZR1 than they were. I think it's almost like they got out of the game like just at the wrong time when that
Hmm.
125 to $150,000 like supercar, if you will, is popular now, right? Because people are like, well, I don't have to spend $300,000 on a McLaren to have like an amazing car. I can get a Z06 or something. And I feel like Viper got out of the game at the exact wrong time to get out of the
Yeah.
game.
Well, I felt like the Viper was the first true American supercar. I mean, it had a Nürburgring. The ACR had the Nürburgring, at least for the American cars, record for a long, long time.
For a while, yeah.
Except for the Zero One. I think the Zero One ended up finally like going tit for tat. But I mean, that car was special. I feel like
Yeah.
Viper, like you said, they got out of it way too soon. I'm hoping they're getting back into it because they're doing a revamp right now, and who knows what they're about to come out with. And
Yeah.
I know they got the same guy that did the Hellcats, the same CEO from before. He's back, and so he's very performance oriented. So it wouldn't surprise me if they come back into this market. I really hope they do because I think
Yeah.
the Viper was phenomenal.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
be
do too.
surprised either, and I almost kind of expect it, especially because ever since a lot of things has changed in the whole political realm, where Dodge and that they were under Stellantis for the longest time. They were pushing the whole electric thing, whatever, because of politics and all that European whatever. But now that they're back on track and they came out with the whole like, okay, we're sorry, we're back. It's going to be very unapologetic, so on and so forth. And they're trying to come back and like kind of like trying to like reprove themselves or like like kind of like a comeback type thing or whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with some kind of Viper ish or variant of it. And I hope they do. I hope they do.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, Ken, number 3.
All right, so number 3 for me is going to be a car that's not incredibly special, but man, it was special to me at the time. Was a 2017 Camaro ZL1.
Mhm. Good choice.
I loved that car. So I had that car. And the main reason that I love that car so much too was because when I traded it in for a 2019 Camaro SS. And I traded it in because I wanted the Z01 because the SS was an automatic and I wanted a stick. And the SS I had done a bunch of work to. I put a 2300 Magnuson supercharger on it and did a bunch of other work to it and everything. And that car was fast and it was great. But I'll tell you what, man, it didn't matter what work I did to that car. When I traded that thing in and you drove it for a ZL1 compared to it, it was it couldn't touch it. The ZL1 was just on another level, and that was also the first car that I had in a long time that was a manual transmission. So it was nice to get back into a car that was a manual, and man, I loved that car. It had so many cool little gimmicks on it at the time. You know, it was like you could do there was a line lock feature on it, factory line lock, which was really cool. There was like a burnout, you know, type mode, things like that. And it was just a really like it was a really cool. I had to get used to driving it because if you've ever sat in a 6th-gen Camaro, the visibility is atrocious. It is really bad. But you know, you get used to it just like anything else. But man, that car was tons of fun to drive. It was super smooth. It was just it did exactly what you wanted to, and the Camaro ZL1, that was just a car that Chevy, they just got that car right. Even to the point where GM kind of said to them like, "Hey, you guys need to back off a little bit because you're infringing on the Corvette, and in the world of GM, you can't make a car that's better than the Vet. The Vet is, you know, that's the king. You can't go near it." And the ZL1 really crept up on it a lot. And that car was just I loved it. It was incredible.
Was yours a
Yeah.
1LE,
Loved it.
Ken? Was your
No,
car
it
a
was
1LE?
not.
Was it the
I
1LE trim?
purposely no. I purposely did not get the 1LE because I wanted the Magna Ride suspension.
Oh,
And
okay.
again, because that car was also all my cars that I've ever had, I've only had one car at a time. I've never owned multiple cars at the same time. So it's traded in or whatever. So I was not going to get a 1LE because again, that was going to be my daily driver. And daily driving a 1LE is just it's going to beat you up. You know, it's an incredible car, but not on the streets. You know,
Yeah.
not every day. It'll beat you to death.
Yeah, I'd heard that about the 1LE. I wanted one. That was on my list of like one of my bucket cars at the time was the 1LE version. But everything I heard about the suspension was like you cannot daily drive that car, or if you do,
You
you're going to really beat yourself to death.
You cannot. I mean, you take it to a track, you have it as a weekend toy, you have it as a secondary car, it's fantastic. But if you're driving that thing on normal everyday roads, oh man. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like, so take your car and, you know, obviously on the Magna Ride if you put your car in track mode, right? You can feel the very obvious difference in the suspension, right? So this is just me personally, this is my personal opinion. Take your car, the Z06, in track mode and make it like 3 to 5 times stiffer, and that's what the 1LE feels like.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty rough. It's pretty rough. It'll handle like handles incredible, but it's just as a daily driver, you just can't do it. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I like those cars. I like those cars. A buddy of mine, one of my rich friends, I'm driving a 1980 Cutlass in high school, and his rich parents bought him a 90 IROC that was black with the go. I'm like, that car was, to this day, I still think that is one of the coolest cars I've ever seen. So I love that those
Sexy.
Camaros hold a special place in my heart too. So, all right. Number 3. So this has a connecting part to my number 5. So when I moved to Dallas, I had a dream. Like, in addition to the white Countach on my wall, I had one other car that was like a dream car of mine to have. And so when I moved to Dallas, I was like determined I was going to get one of these. And I found one in someone's garage with black and white leather this was in 98 and it was a 91 and it only had 15,000 miles on it. And I sold my Supra to buy it, and it was a Acura NSX.
No,
Oh,
And
nice. I thought you
that
were going to say
car,
a Lamborghini. I thought you were going Lamborghini with
I
that.
was
no.
waiting for the
Almost
Lamborghini.
positive that's what you're going to say.
Yeah, it
I
was a
thought you were going to say a
91.
Diablo or something. Yeah.
I wish. 91 NSX with 15,000 miles on it, and it was, 98. He had put I think it was 2004 after the Zanardi, but he put the more updated rims on it, and literally it was just sitting in his garage. He didn't even drive it. And I saw that car, and the visual appearance of that car, I had never seen any coming from Peoria. Like the Supra was like, oh my God, but seeing that in person, it literally was one of the coolest cars I've ever seen in my life. And with that white leather, it just did something, and I was like, amazing. And I paid $38,000 for that car.
Oh, my
And
God.
I'm going to
How is
go
that
ahead and
possible?
guess yet again.
But
That is another
yeah,
car that, man, you wish you never sold.
yeah, because in 91, I mean, in 98, it was still, I mean,
Yeah.
38 for a used car. Back in the day when you could only get like a used car loan, like on a 3-year-old car or something
Yeah.
like that. And so to get a 91 in 98, I mean, my bank was like, this car's like super old. I mean, it's like 8 years old. What are you thinking? But somehow I coerced my credit union into giving me a loan for it. But at the time, that's how it was. We didn't think of cars that were that old.
I remember, yeah.
Like now we don't care, but back then it was like, that's so old, but it was just a different car because the banks were just looking at the year. They weren't looking at and understanding what the car really is like they
Yeah.
do now. And, but anyway, that car, that was the price. And I was like, I can't believe I even found this. And to me, it still seemed like a lot of money at the time. I mean, $40,000 for a used car. People are like, that's used. I'm like, you have no idea what this car is. It's amazing. So again, one of those cars, I can't even imagine what that thing's worth right now. So, because it's the color combination was so unique, black with they called it ivory leather. It was just so beautiful and so amazing. I mean, they were slow, they weren't very fast, but they looked fast and they looked really good. And I love that car, and I still wish I had it.
Yeah, it was a mid-engine, there weren't too many. Try to find another car that was mid-engine at the time that wasn't, something exotic.
Yeah, hand built too.
Yeah.
I
How much did
mean,
you get
and
for it when you sold it? Just curious.
I think I sold it for 45 because I only had it for like a year. I didn't have it
But
very
you still
long.
made
Yeah.
money though. I mean, I
Yeah.
still feel like that was cheap to sell it for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we didn't know. Like, how am I supposed to know back then?
Yeah.
You're like, because the book, people would go off book. Remember
Yeah.
we'd be sitting there flipping through the Kelly Blue book, and we're like, oh,
Well, I mean, now
So,
that car, correct me if I mean, I'm just a guess off the top of my head, that car would easily go for 90 or 100, wouldn't it?
I would think so. Yeah, I would
you
think so,
can't get
right?
them. I haven't seen I haven't seen good shape ones for under like $100,000
I'd
at
say
all.
90 or 100 at
Wow.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are hard to find, and they are. And I was at having coffee out in Wimberley, Texas, at this little coffee shop, and I look outside. I'm like, and I thought I saw something. I walked out there, and some guy had pulled up in his Zanardi edition NSX, and I was like, I mean, it was amazing looking. I don't know if you know the history about that Zanardi, but it was such a cool car, and they only made it for like 1 year to honor Zanardi for when he got killed and stuff. So it was just a cool car. So amazing.
Yeah. Those things are great. Even
Actually, he
high mileage.
wasn't dead. They made the car for him, and then when he died, they became super valuable.
Hmm. Yeah. I always
So,
loved those cars. Never had
yeah,
one, but they were always great.
great cars. So, all right, Brandon, number 2 on the
Okay, so this
list.
is going to tie into the previous story. That same C5 LS7 manual transmission, mainly because it's sentimental to me. I bought it as a bone stock car with 60,000 miles on it. It was like $21,000 at the time, which wasn't a lot of money. But this was probably 2008, 2007. Did the LS7 swap to it, which was kind of a more personalized thing. There was a whole ordeal with the motor. I bought a short block, thinking that it was a good short block, ended up being a bad short block, which ended up being all this money to try to rebuild short block. Then they had the head issue. So long story short, I had a lot of like personal time into the car, and it's been flawless. It still has that same engine in it now. It's still sitting in my garage. You can't see it behind me because it's in my other area, but it is. I did the wide body on the rear, 345 drag radials. I've replaced the differentials blown on me once. I mean, I've had all kinds of issues, but nothing has ever been mechanical from the engine itself. And that LS7 is like the LT6. It is one of the best engines I think GM's ever made. I love turning it over 7K all the time. It just pulls and pulls and pulls. And I think it's a great sounding engine too. So for that reason, because it's kind of a custom, the C5s I think are the sexiest generation, one of the sexiest Corvettes, especially the wide body and especially the fixed roof coupes. Mine's not a fixed roof coupe, but it is a coupe. And so that's the reason. It just from the personal investment, the power, the fact that I've never lost a race in that car. Now I didn't race a million different cars, but I never lost to anything on the street. I think that just tells you a lot. And it was a driver's car too. Like even though it
That's
technically
cool.
had a traction control button, it was also a driver's car. It let you do what
Yeah.
you wanted to do to the car.
Yeah. You still have it, right? It's in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other.
still got it.
Yeah, that's
Man, I
cool.
love those things. Yeah. C5s I always liked the C5, but I never like they never like struck me until a buddy of mine actually about a year ago he paid me to do his car and did a whole ton of work to his car, and he's got a 90, no, I'm sorry, an '03, an '03 C5. It's a convertible, and I didn't think much of it, but then he pulled it in once we got there, and I was like, man, these things in person, they look great. They look I was even like, I might even want to get one of these things now. But man, I always liked, I never liked the C5, but then they grew on me in the past year or two, especially with an
Especially the
LS7.
wide bodies.
Yeah, and the LS7 too. I know a lot of people will kind of like, everybody kind of has something to say about that engine. That's one of the greatest engines GM has ever made.
Yep,
It
I
is.
agree.
Yes,
That's
it's got the
awesome.
cylinder head guide problem or whatever, but it's not. If you fix it, you put the pin back in the grenade, so to speak. Man, that engine will just. It's incredible. It's the last 427 that was mass produced and it revved all the way to 7,000 RPM. A 427 that revved to 7,000 RPM. That's
Yep.
incredible. And those engines are just they're incredible. I love them. I love them.
That's awesome. All right, Ken, number 2.
So number two, kind of getting in the realm here a little bit too. Number two for me was my and I've had many videos about this car on the channel before on my channel. My 2015 C7 Z06.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that car. Love that car. I bought that car and I got a really good price on it because that car, nobody was. It was being sold at a dealership. It was up in Sacramento, California, and it sat there for a while and nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted to touch it because it was at the time, I think it had like 70,000 miles on it. And this is, about a year and a half ago now at this point, or actually probably about 2.5 years ago when I bought it. Had 70,000 miles on it at the time. But it had a clean title, but it had been in 3 accidents and it had 7 previous owners.
Oh my god! I
So
bet that car was
nobody
cheap.
wanted it. What?
I bet that car was cheap.
Yeah.
Price
Well,
wise.
well, at the time, this is, probably 2.5 years ago during COVID prices and things like that. I think I paid like 45 for that car.
That's still that's a deal.
Yeah, at the time for COVID
Yeah.
pricing and everything too. But because it was sitting on the lot for a while because everybody was afraid of it. 7 previous owners, 3 accidents, 70,000 miles, and it was an automatic. Okay. I was like, okay, automatic, whatever. I bought it because, sitting in LA traffic, whatever, automatic is sometimes kind of nice. But I will admit, if that car was manual, I still would have it today. I never would have got rid of it. But man, that car, that was the first Z06 that I had ever had. And it just, it was incredible. I loved it. Everything about it was great. The practicality of the C7, I loved because that trunk space is huge. I never had a problem picking up anything in that car. The cargo space was amazing. It was comfortable. It was nice. It looked fantastic. I would drive that car places around here, parking in parking lots. People thought it was brand new. They're like, oh, it's a brand new car. I'm like, no, dude, it's car's 9, 10 years old with 70,000 miles on it. They're like, what? No, it's not. Yeah, it is.
That's
So
crazy.
just by the way they looked. But
Right.
the C7, I love that generation. I always have. I always will.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you
Especially
if
the
that.
Batmobile.
Oh yeah. And that car's been on, you can see it on the previous videos on my channel and things like that I've done. But I'll tell you, if that car was a manual, I never would have got rid of it. Never.
Mm-hmm.
I would have kept
Yeah.
it.
That's awesome. Okay, so my number 2 is I talked earlier about pivoting from Porsche, and this is when I pivoted from Porsche. I bought a 2014 Gen 1 Audi R8, and that car, I've had a couple of them, and I've had a 2008 and a 2014. Now, prior to 2014, it was single clutch, and they went to the dual clutch in 2014. I'm still trying to figure out which one I like better. The single was so aggressive on the shifts, it would like throw you around, but the 2014 was a little refined. But that car, from the way it drove, aesthetics, the way it sounded, it was such a cool car. It was so beautiful. And I don't know, I just loved that car. I mean, it was always a dream to get one of those, and finally I had an opportunity. And so I pulled the trigger.
Do you still have it or no?
No, I sold it. Yeah,
Oh,
of
What is it?
course.
What are those rev to, Richard? Like RPM wise?
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head what they rev to. I'd have
They're
to look
pretty
that
high
up.
because at least
It's
the
pretty
weight,
high.
775, 8,000, something like
Yeah,
that.
it
That
was.
kind of rings.
they're
Yeah.
pretty high because those, and I'm pretty sure, and I'm not incredibly familiar with Audis, but those are flat plane cranks as well too. But what's funny about them is that they have an odd firing order as opposed to an even firing order, which gives them the sound that they have. So it has like a flat plane crank sound, but it still has that cross plane crank sound also because it's an odd firing order.
Right.
But man, those are beautiful cars. Audi is
Yeah, it's
another
just
one of the car companies that I never really got into, but I'll admit even lately in the past year or two, there are two cars that Audi makes that I love. One is the R8 and one is the RS7, the sedan.
yeah.
But the R8s, man, those are again, that's like a dream. That's like a type of a dream car to me too, you know?
Yeah, it's so good. It's such a good car. And then I had a Gen 2 and it was so refined. It looked really good. It just wasn't the Gen 1. There was just something about that Gen 1 that just looks and feels different than the Gen 2. And the Gen 2 just doesn't sound very good. You know, I had to put an exhaust on it just to get it to sound like something. Cause again, it was so refined. You could get it to pop a little bit if you just hammered it all the time. But again, just driving around town, it didn't do much for me. So I still, again, and then, you know, it's crazy because that engine, that V10 is made side by side, you know, with the Lamborghini. So the Gen 1 R8 is the Gallardo and the Gen 2 obviously is a Huracan. So it's just the same car, but it's tuned so differently in both of the cars. It just sounds you won't even believe if you drove both of them that it's the same engine because of the tune. It's
Hmm.
crazy. It's crazy.
Interesting.
All right, Brandon, number
Y'all
one.
know, you know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Y'all know. It's
Yeah.
sitting right there.
Yep.
So, 2024 C8 Z06 is probably my all-time top, and I'll tell you why real quick. I'll keep it brief. But so my car in particular, I got down to 3,258 pounds. Now, if you'd asked me the same question for the same list, I probably would have put it maybe number two when I first got the car. But now, after having it and making it what I want it to be, it is for sure my number one because it's light, it's nimble. The sound is the best American sounding car I think has been ever made out of the U.S. I don't think there's anything that even touches the sound of it. It's beautiful. I love revving it out, 8,600 RPMs. It just feels agile. It's planted to the rear. I can't find any faults except for I don't like the TCM, I don't like the gearing, and I don't like the TCM programming. Those are the only two faults, and it's very temperamental with modifications as far as check engine lights and things like that. So it doesn't like you messing with it. But if you have an all stock carbon wheel like 1LZ with competition seats, and you have that car, that's like the ideal. I would just leave it alone. So anyway, so to kind of answer your question, this does everything for me. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with getting it lighter. I'm obsessed with messing with it. I love driving it. I love every single thing about it. The only two faults are what I just listed. Otherwise, I can't list anything that I would say that's negative about it. It's sexy, gets attention. It's fun to drive. I mean, there's no fault to the car. I really, other than like maybe Ken, in your case with the E-Ray, the fact that I can't really drive it daily. It's not a great daily driver. You can
Yeah.
daily it, but I wouldn't recommend daily driving it. So it doesn't check every single box, but every single box for like a weekend car, it checks all those boxes. I
Yeah.
don't think there's any box it doesn't check.
Yeah.
Right.
And even like the thing you just said about the, fault of it, with it doesn't like modifications or whatever, because yeah, the ECM, the TCM are not tunable at this point, but if you ask me, that's just a matter of time. They're gonna
Hmm.
get cracked. They are. It's gonna
I hope
happen.
so.
It might take
Right.
a while. To be perfectly honest with you, they already kind of have it due, but it's not really ready yet, to the best of my knowledge. But it's gonna happen, and then when it does, it's gonna open up a whole nother realm for
Hmm.
many,
Yeah.
many people. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Ken, number one.
Well, same thing with me. No mystery. It's sitting right behind me.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the E-Ray. Um, it is it's the best car I've ever had. It really is. Um, I mean, it kind of better be for what they're going for.
Right.
But
Right.
it does everything. And in terms of that too, like there's a lot of things about it that I didn't think that I would be as excited about it that I am as when I had it. The one thing that I went with the E-Ray over the Z06, like when I was looking at the two of them, and I did a whole video about that, which I'm sure is out there. But the Z06 to me just kind of like it didn't feel as torquey. There wasn't a lot of low end power. The flat plane crank, you have to rev it up to get it high, and I like this because it's power on the low end and power on the top end. But it does everything. Again, I love all wheel drive cars. This is probably as a couple of my other cars I mentioned were all wheel drive. It's comfortable. It's a daily driver. The whole stealth mode option
Hmm.
thing that it can do and everything, man, I gotta tell you, I love that feature because I get up and go to work at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
My neighbors love it because they don't even know
Yeah,
that I
sure.
leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't even know that I leave. So it's great and it's nice. It's comfortable. It's quiet. I've taken this car on road trips, 6, 7 hour road trips, drove it the whole time. And then when I got out where I was going, perfectly fine. Nothing's hurting, cramped, whatever. The car doesn't beat you up or anything. My one maybe two gripes is kind of the same thing that I have with it is the practicality of it. You know, yeah, it's got the frunk, yeah, it's got the trunk, and it's got two smaller spaces to kind of make up stuff. So, but it's like sometimes when I go to like the store or something like that or whatever, I got to pick things up. It's like playing Tetris, trying to get things in and
Yeah.
around and everything. So, the only other thing that I really wish that the C8 had in general, that a lot of other like supercars have, that I really wish it had, like if you get into like a Lamborghini or something like that. Yeah, it's a two-seater car, but behind the two seats, there's some kind of like dead space, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
something you can just like
Like it's almost like a shelf back there. Yeah, 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 yeah.
exactly. And I wouldn't ask for much. Just give me like a little, like a 3 or 4 inch, just some kind of space back, you know, that's the whole width of the car, some kind of space, and then that. Because I can't tell you how many times I got in the car to have something, and I wish, like, you know, like in like a Camaro or something, I'll throw it in the back seat. Okay, I can reach back and grab it, whatever. You can't do that in this car because there's nothing there. So, but other than that, man, it's been a fantastic car. I love the engine in it. I love how it's still a basic pushrod V8, but I love the electric assist to it too. I didn't think I would love it as much as I do. Well, I kind of did, but
Yeah.
it's the most incredible car I've ever had by far.
Do you have a cold air intake?
Nope, the car is mostly bone stock, to be perfectly honest with you.
Okay.
And the only actual performance modification I have so far to it is I do have a Corsa 4-valve exhaust on it, and there's a catch can. Um, the only reason with that too is that I don't want to spend any money on any modifications to it until I go big with it, which would be either a twin turbo kit or a supercharger. But the other problem that you have out here where I am is if you modify a car out here in California, man, you had better modify it with carb EO, carb legal parts.
Mhm.
Because if you get caught or if you put something on that car that is not carb legal, it is a headache that you cannot imagine.
Yeah. I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about the room. You're talking about the trunk and, you know, or whatever you call it in the back. And I have a cold air intake. I know Brandon does too. You think it's small now. You put a cold air intake in there, it takes up everything. I mean, I can't put
Yeah, the
anything back
even right?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I ever have to take it to the grocery store, I mean, maybe I'm doing too much, but if I ever take it to the grocery store, because I don't like the possibility of food or anything in my car spilling or doing anything like that. So I always have to put it in the frunk. I'll bring like a cooler, like a small cooler, and put food in there because the heat coming from both sides is so great. You're like, it's going to get destroyed, whatever I put in there. So I
Yeah.
literally, like, hardly never take it. But if I have to go make a quick pit stop and grab some meat or something, I bring a cooler to put it in. So I put it in the front. So, but there's no room. I mean, I have some car seat covers up front. And when I bring it somewhere, if someone else is sitting in it besides me, I just cover the seats and the steering wheel because I've had bad experiences with people ripping the seats with keys or someone's ring scratching the leather or dinging up the carbon fiber. So I cover everything. So, and we'll move forward. My number one, and listen, we all agreed that we weren't going to share our lists with each other because we didn't want to see, we wanted organic surprises. And ironically, somehow we ended up all on the same thing. My number one is my Z06. So
Yeah.
it
It's
is,
just,
it is the absolute best car I've ever had. And I've driven a lot of nice cars and what you get for the money. And not even, I hate when we have to preface it by the money. If that car was 300,000 and I drove a Huracan, I still would like the Z06 better. And I don't care. It's just an unbelievable car. It does everything I want it to do. I love the way it looks. I love the way it looks. I love that wide body. I love the stance in the front. There's just something about this car that I love getting in it. I love driving it. I'm super comfortable in it. And I feel like, I don't know, there's just something it does to me. I just love it. And I think we all talked about something we don't like. The one thing I hate, the one thing I loved about my Audi is when I drove it to the dealership, an Audi tech would come talk to me. And he only worked on R8s. And sometimes I go to like the dealership and I'm like, okay, can I talk to the Corvette tech? And they're just kind of like, what are you talking about? We're
Yeah.
all, certified, whatever. I'm like, can we just have one guy that works on this car only and doesn't work on, all the other cars that are sold here? Like, I just want one guy that's a specialist in this car, and
yeah.
that's the one thing I don't like about it. But because all the other places like Porsche and then Audi, they make you feel like they know exactly. This guy is so specialized in these cars that just makes you feel good, you
Yeah.
know. And I just wish they had a specialized Corvette guy that when I pulled in, they weren't like, just get in line like a factory, check in, give me your car. Like, no, no, no. I want to talk to somebody. I just want someone to make me feel good that I own the most expensive car that they sell, for the most part. Just make me feel a little bit special that
Yeah.
I have the car and I want to talk to someone who knows what they're doing. But that's like my only complaint about it because everything else is so good to me. I mean, I just love all the modifications we can do aesthetically, and we're all doing them in our garage. I don't have to bring it somewhere. And it is by far, I think, the best car that I've ever owned. And I just can't imagine for the money if there was anything else I would rather have.
Richard, let me ask you this. When you had your Audi R8, just to kind of preface on what you just said, say you wanted to buy carbon fiber mirror cats for your Audi R8. Did somebody make all those parts, kind of like on the C8? Or were you so limited that if you wanted something, you had to basically get it made from scratch? So, like, how available were parts for those exotics like that?
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, you could not get, I mean, the 911s, yes, the R8s were just, I mean, I'm sure by now someone has some parts out there, but it's the mods on there. People just keep them stock for the most part. There's not a lot going on with them. And if you did say there was an upgraded package, like how the Corvette comes with the carbon fiber, upgrades with the side skirts and the splitter, if there was an upgrade, I mean, you would have to just get it from the dealership. I mean, you could not find a lot of aftermarket places. I mean, even I remember going down a rabbit hole just trying to find spacers for my Gen 2, and I had trouble finding spacers for it, I mean,
Right.
there's not a, you know, like we talked about, like a dedicated store online that sells just Corvette parts for the most part. It was going down rabbit holes trying to find someone who had something that would fit it if it didn't come from the dealership or was OEM that you just had to buy from them.
Huh.
So, but again, back to this again, funny how we all ended up on the same car. And one of these days, Ken, we'll get into the debate Z06 versus E-Ray because I
For the
know that.
record, I love both, and I've driven both.
Yeah, I've
I
driven
just ended
both.
up with a Z06 that is what I ended up with first. I don't even know when I got mine. I think the E-Ray just came out. I think I hadn't driven one at that point. I don't know that if I went back, I think I'd probably still make the decision, but it would be very, very difficult.
Yeah,
I would be probably like 53-47 on the E-Ray versus Z06, knowing what I know now.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I'll tell you what, a lot of people kind of do that same conversation and everything, and a lot of it, as much as I hate to admit this, it is very much true. The reason that car, the E-Ray, is so um not considered or on the same level or something like that is because of its name. It's
Mhm.
because of its name. If they had called that car something else, these debates would not even they really wouldn't be out there that much, I think, to be honest with
They
you.
should have
like
just put X on it. It should have
yeah,
been just the X. It
Z06X.
should have been
Yeah,
Yeah,
Corvette
they should have
X.
called it the
yeah,
Grand Sport. Yeah, or yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah. No, it's a great car. I did that. I don't know if you guys have seen that video I did with Jesse, and
I
that's
have
funny.
seen that.
Ken, we were doing that, and too bad the sound sucked, but it was a really cool video and really cool comparing them side by side because I had never driven an E-Ray until then. And, the one thing I would say, the Z06, to Brandon's point, amazing on the weekend. If I had to start that up and drive it every day, it would be exhausting because it's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot of
It's a
car,
job.
It's the sound. I mean, just going through my neighborhood, in first gear just before it switches out of it just revs so much and then gets in and it's just like I'm up to 40 miles an hour before it changes gears and it sounds like I'm going 100 miles an hour, but
Yeah.
it's just so loud, it's crazy. But that
Yeah.
E-Ray is definitely a lot more livable, but at the end of the day I just don't know if I could get rid of that sound just does something to me.
I would like to think that in a little while the E-Ray is going to kind of follow suit with something. You remember a little while ago, I can't remember the exact years of it, but Cadillac made the V2 generation, the CTS-V, but they made a wagon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Manual and automatic. The manuals were
Yeah.
like the Raven ones. Oh my God.
They made a CTS-V wagon. And when they made that wagon, nobody bought it. Everybody was like, a wagon. The hell am I?
Yeah.
They didn't like it. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. I'm probably wrong because I'm usually wrong about these types of things. But I would like to think that in a couple of years, especially if they stop making that car, which I'm pretty sure they are. I'll bet anything 2026 is going to be the last year for it. After the fact, people are going to look at it and go, "Ooh, that is something that I want." And I think that they're going to kind of like, elevate and probably maybe even go up in price and kind of do what the CTS-V wagon did. CTS-V wagon, you want to get one of those now, they're pretty hard to come by and they're expensive because they're desired.
Or if a manual, you can't find it.
Especially a manual, yeah.
They're $60 to $80,000 even with a lot of miles on them.
Oh yeah, yeah, and and you can get them, and you can ask that for them and everything. So I'd like to think that maybe not quite to that same level that it'll do that because you could get the E-rated manual, but I'd like to think that once it's gone, people will kind of turn around and realize like what it is, and then maybe it'll become desirable. But like I said, I'm usually wrong about these types of things.
It's so I love the brain, the human brain. I love the supply and demand. I remember right after COVID, Mercedes announced the G63 was done. They weren't going to create, do the V8 turbo anymore. They were just going to come out with an electric version. People went crazy. They were paying $100,000 over sticker for G-Wagons, just nutso for them. And then the next thing you know, they announced that, oh, we're going to keep making them. And it's like, what? So like to your point, if they say they're going to stop making the E-Ray, people will go nutty and just start buying them up, paying whatever for them. They'll go back up
and one if that's the case for sure.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
I will bet you 2026 will be the last year for it. I really do think so.
I hope not.
I heard they stopped making a lot of them.
They haven't made a lot of them, yeah. I mean, even
production's really low.
All 3 model years, they've only made like 3,000 or 4,000 of them, I think.
Yeah, I heard production's really low, and they're gonna stop. I mean, up at the dealership near my house, I think they have 4 of them on, like, right on the showroom. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
For my sake, I hope they do stop making them. To be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, it's an interesting time with those. So. All right, guys, this has been fun sharing our, and these are all, just preface this, these are all top 5 cars that we have owned. So this isn't just some list that we're making up. These are cars that we've driven, spent time with, and loved. And so again, this list is made up of cars that we've actually owned. So this isn't coming from a place that we're, saying, oh, that's a great car. Maybe we'll do a list of one day of cars we wish we had. But right now, these lists are actual lists of cars that we owned in it. I appreciate you guys sharing your stories with it and your experiences and your thoughts and how different our lists were. It's kind of amazing. And then we all kind of ended up at the same place. So, so it's a great show. I really appreciate it. And, I'm having a blast doing this with you guys and really fun. And I will, we'll get these out to the people and hopefully they'll enjoy 3 guys sitting around talking cars as much as we do, enjoy making this video. So I really appreciate it, guys. And it's good seeing you guys again.
Good seeing you too.